The fountainhead. And then he says, and know that the source of all these infirmities. Now he's going to, instead of going into the 33, he's going to tell you what is the root cause. So if you can work on the root, you don't have to worry about the branches. You can uproot it all. You get the weed by the roots, the weed dies. The fountainhead of all misdeeds here, that the source of all these infirmities, love of leadership and procrastination. The idea is love of leadership is me. I want to be in charge. I want to be the one ahead. I want to be the one. And this is more subtle than wanting to be the president or wanting to be, it's about wanting a position in the eyes of others. It's about wanting to have a position. Jah, what they call hubb al-jah. The Prophet said, love of wealth and love of position amongst people is more dangerous to the religion of an individual than two hungry wolves in the midst of sheep. And procrastination is related to, according to the Islamic tradition, the ultimate procrastination, which is the next world, with death. Putting off the idea of death. I'm not going to think about it. Let's not talk about it. There is a very important spiritual practice in the Islamic tradition and in other traditions of contemplating death, reflecting about death every day, taking some time and thinking about going into non-existence, right? And the idea is that it's a waking up, it's a pattern break, because life, we get this idea that we're going on forever, right? And even as the body begins to wane, we still, it's just hard to keep that in focus, that we do die. And the idea is that if you can become aware of your death, then experiences with people become more important. That the moments that we live, the moments that we share with our family are more important. The idea that death is something that can take us at any time, that can seize us at any time. It's not a morbid type of you start wearing black and no. The idea is literally of becoming really aware of one's mortality in a way that enables one to live in the world and be free. And really this is the idea that through acceptance of death is the ultimate freedom. As long as you're afraid of death, everything will cause fear. Fear of provision, fear of insecurity, all these things. That if you can accept one's death, then you can accept anything. So the idea of really becoming aware. And then when you begin to think about death, there's a tradition that says, work for this world as if you would live forever, but work for the next world as if you would die tomorrow. So the idea is that you begin to prepare for that. That this is a type of, Rumi has a wonderful poem where he says that on the day of resurrection, God says, tell me what you did. And he says that the man just falls down to his knees, nothing. And he looks over to the prophets, and the prophets say, don't look at us. You left the plow in the middle of the field, and now's the day of harvest. In other words, the idea that this world is a world for literally plowing, for preparing for the next world, and that you reap the fruits of the next world. So that is part of it. And then he says, the fountainhead of all misdeeds is love of this world, right? In Buddhism, you have the Four Noble Truths. The first truth, the world is suffering. The second truth, suffering is a result of attachment. The more we love the world, the greater our suffering. There's an Islamic tradition that Jesus said that to the degree of your attachment to this world is the degree of your suffering when tribulation befalls you. The idea then is that if one can relinquish one's love of the world, and this again is love when I talked about in the earlier talk of the absence of the divine in the world. Right? Because when the world is imbued with the divine presence, then the love that one shows is because of the divine presence. It's not for the thing itself. It's not for stuff. It's not for the more I have, the happier I'm going to be. This is not what it's about. It is about relinquishing one's attachment so one becomes free, and then one can be in the world in a way that is beauty-making. right? One can truly contribute to the human condition in the process of living in the world. The Prophet Muhammad said, smiling in the face of another person is charity, right? Just to give a person a smile is charity, right? And that idea of becoming aware that that is something that you will be rewarded for in the next world. So making beauty. And then he says,